Anyway, how was your week? Noreen, how
Going
was your
on.
week? How was your week? Noreen, Mr. What?
It was good. So far, so good.
Good, good to hear.
I had some hiccups. My daughter was sick.
Oh boy.
Uh, the small one. Then she became good. Then the big one, she
Took
cut.
up.
She cut the same. Yeah, took off.
I understand. You know,
It's always like this.
it's not funny, but that's what they've been doing all along. You know, that's what
Mhm.
they've been doing. I've been going through same challenge, you know, but that is life, and you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
going through that challenge and at the same time taking this graduate program, sometimes it can drive you crazy, you know, it can drive you crazy, but I know you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You're almost there, right? Good. So we're not going to
Yeah,
waste time.
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get there little by little. Lauren, I hope you're doing well, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good.
I was just a bit sick last week, but I'm now fine. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Good to hear
Yes,
that
thank
you're
you.
getting better. Yeah, it's good to.
Yes,
I know. It can be stressful, especially during this time that wherever you go, organizations are not having the full capacity of human resource that they need. So you tend to work more than you're supposed to, especially if you're a supervisor. You will always be doing more than what you're supposed to do because you don't have enough hands. So sometimes you just have to um, step up and do what you are not required to do just to be able to fill up that vacancy or that kind of vacuum, you know. So, you know, that's what we have signed up to do. So we just have to do it, right? Good. So that brings us to our topic today. And as we all know, we're dealing with ethics and the law today. Ethics and the law. Um, what does these two have in common? Why is it so important in business? Is it necessary for even an organization, an individual, um, a community? Is it important for us to always observe that kind of ethics in whatever we do? Yes. And how does it affect us when we try to relate that into the laws of the country where we find ourselves? You know, that is very important. Sorry for that. So that is where we are today, and that is what we're going to talk about. You know, in the course of the week, we have a very nice and fruitful discussion. Each and everyone has his or her own idea about his or her understanding about ethics, how it relates to circumstances that might arise, and what goes on around us, and also vis-a-vis the legal aspect of it. You know, we all do have our own reasons, and like I said, there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to ethics. You know, most of you cited very nice piece. You wrote so much good articles that I was so impressed based on your experience and some also from books that you have read. I believe it is very important for us to share all this information. You know, um, I know it is very difficult when you are being pinned at a very tight corner to give such a response to questions like that. You know, um, if your organization find itself in any sort of malpractice, you being an employee, what would you do? Would you blow the whistle? Would you keep quiet because some other employees will lose their job because the company might be closed down? Would you just keep quiet and then let the organization continue to do what is wrong? Especially when we enter into medicine, you know, where people might be doing so many things, producing fake drugs for us to consume. Are you in this kind of organization that produces medicine? So many things going on, not going according to standard procedures. Would you keep quiet? Putting all this together, just coming back to our own selves individually. You know, although the question was in relation to an organization, but bringing it to our own daily life. Would you just look over certain things, assuming it's not your duty to at least get that thing corrected? Would you just look at it? You are just going on a jogging early in the morning, or you going on a walk early in the morning. You've seen somebody stabbing someone by the roadside. Would you just look on? Would you just bypass without doing anything? Well, in the United States, we will say that if you see something, say something. You know, yes, it's sometimes very difficult for you being in an organization or a company where so much is being done, and you feel like, hey, it's two things. If I blow the whistle, I lose my job. I'm going to be dragged to the law courts or wherever for me to come and provide evidence, or I'm going to be discriminated upon. All these things comes into mind. But again, on the other side, have you looked at that? What do you think about that too? Assuming you are in the aviation parts industry, okay? All you do is to provide parts for airplanes and all those kind of stuff. You are in the aviation industry and you produce parts for airplanes. If certain part is not being produced per standards, would you just keep quiet? You know, these are some of the things which should come to mind when we want to talk about ethics. And again, don't forget, when we start going through the lecture, you understand it into details, but I'm just trying to brief you on that. As many of you have done so much, giving us so much good information. Yes, a couple of colleagues mentioned culture being an influence, religion being an influence, and all those other stuff that can influence our decision. You might come from a community where if somebody slaps somebody, it's okay. If that is so, would the ethics influence you to say something? Yes or no? I'm not here to answer that. I'm only a messenger. So we are here to ensure that by the end of the day, what we learn out of this class will inspire you to go out there, do what is right. I believe it's is it Winnie? Winnie cited a very nice example. I believe it might be a practical example whereby in the banking industry, you find people siphoning money here and there. Okay, what do? Some of us, we are certified whistleblowers. So as for me, I know wherever I go, people, even those who know me, soon as I get to them, they feel like I'm there for something. I'm a certified fraud examiner. So I know I'm in for that. So everybody know I'm a certified whistleblower. So you get to a certain office and those who know you will look at you with some eye. You're going to do interviews. You get there, you provide them with your profile, and they tend to think like you coming in for something else other than what you are in for, you know. But the point is, we should be ready to do what? To fight the good cause. sometimes it will not always go in our favor. But this is what you have to know, that the general well-being of the global world is more important than yourself. You know, it could affect your family. It could affect your family, your family's friend or something like that. It could go so long to have a very bad image out there, that with your assistance, that you saying something would have brought it to an end. But if we don't, as business students, as scholars, as people who have knowledge, if we want to do what? Sweep certain things under the carpet based on certain things in quotation marks, that, hey, I might not be protected. So I should let over millions of people take that kind of fake drug that has been produced, that I have that knowledge to bring it out there. I should keep quiet, because if I just blow the whistle, maybe I'll lose my job. Would that be a very good excuse for you to just keep that information? I'm just a messenger once again. So we are here, and by the end of this session, we should have information that will help us, that will boost our way and morale as to whether certain things we'll have to at least face it, and then ensure that it is done, and is done properly. And again, it cuts across all those things I mentioned: your background, cultural background, the religious background, wherever you come from. You know, there might be a country where if you pay bribe, it's okay, because you need to get things done, so you pay bribes. But how does it affect the entire population? How does it affect the entire community? That you will be able to afford paying bribe, but what about the poor guy who cannot pay the bribe? What is that person going to do? Is he not going to be able to be served because he cannot pay the bribe? Do we have to encourage that? Or do we have to say something? Is it right? Is it ethically right? Does it mean we have to at least speak about that? I'm not here to judge that. But by the end of this section, you should be at least be able to read in between the lines and see what you should do as a business student, as a scholar, to be able to help your own organization. At a point, whenever I get to the office, the employees sometimes don't want to see my face. But at a point, some of them realize their mistake, and they started coming closer, because I have to do what? Sit them down, advise them, show them the way. At a point, my own colleagues, my line managers, didn't want to talk to me. Yes, because at the end of the day, we were dealing with contractors, so they will increase the contractors what? Remuneration, okay? And then at the end of the day, they go behind the door and take the money. Okay, but if we see this and we don't say it, what happens? Does it affect the entire organization? Will it have an impact on the organization moving forward in the future? Okay, if it doesn't, what about the other employees who do not get favors, or who are not the favored ones? Are they not human beings? Is it right? Is it wrong? Mr. Awad is going to help us determine that, because they are the HR people, and we're gonna know if we are 20 people employing, vying for a specific position, or candidates looking for a specific position. All right, and at the end of the day, because I don't come from Awad's community, my application is being just scrambled and then thrown under the desk. Is it right? Is this ethics? Is that what we need to know? What do we have to do about it? if we want to be genuine business scholars or businessmen, okay, do we really have to do something about this? How can we make our organization a nice place for people to work and then enjoy? Can we treat people fairly? It is accepted. We cannot treat everyone equally, okay, but fairly, all right? Fairly, we should be able to treat people in a way that they will be able to at least like the job that they are doing. When they go wrong, what do? You straighten them. When they do right, what do? You praise them. If you don't do that, okay, it will do what? It will bring down the morale of the employees. And at a point, you cannot do it by yourself. And this is very important. So this, by the end of the day, we should know much about what we are in for. I'm not sure if somebody want to say something before we hit the road. I see all the professors here. Rhodas, good.
Hello, Professor. Yes. So I don't have a good internet, but if you can hear me, I will speak about one situation. So there was this guy. We use a public taxi. So but the price for the taxi is 20 birr.
Good.
But if it's late at the night time, they add 10 birr. So which means, but it's not authorized. They just add it by themselves, so it becomes 30. And people are unwilling to pay. But this guy reported that they were making us pay extra 10 birr. So they said that he registered all the car's numbers. What do you call the car? The car numbers. Reported everybody's car numbers to the authorities, and the car drivers were saying that they were gonna hit him. They were waiting for him, and I overheard them saying that they were gonna hit him, and they were waiting for him. I didn't do anything because I was scared for my life too, because they were discussing about killing the guy. What do you do in these situations?
Good. See, such a nice scenario. Anyone can contribute before we hit the road. Anyone on the platform can contribute to this. You know, there is a set price that all the taxi drivers try to do what? To charge. At the end of the day, others or one specific guy decided to increase the price. If I heard you right, Rodas, one specific guy decided to increase the price to be able to convey the passengers. And at the point, other taxi drivers didn't like that, and they wanted to find a way to hit him or kill him or something like that. Is it right? If I heard you right.
My connection was lost for a bit, but what I was saying is there are taxi drivers, and they make us pay extra because it's late, but they're not supposed to. And
That's right.
this guy, he's a public, he's a civilian, so he reported on them, and they were waiting for him because
Good.
there are lines for taxis. They were waiting for him. They knew his place, and they were waiting for him.
Good.
So they were planning on killing the guy. Yes. And I overheard them speaking about it, but I didn't say anything.
Good.
I
Thank
was
you.
shocked, but I didn't do anything about it. Yes.
Good. So somebody's life is in danger. You have the opportunity to hear about it, but you're scared for your own life. You refuse not to do what? Not to intervene. Rodas is asking us, which is something related to this topic. Anybody want to talk? Anybody want to talk? In this situation, what do you do? Oh, Mr. Awad, go ahead. I understand. But
Your voice is low. Your voice is low, Ahmed.
Mr. Awad, check your volume. We still can't hear you, Mr. Awad.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I understand Rhoda's point. She's afraid of her life, of course, and this is a big motive, a huge motive. We can say this is the ultimate motive. You are afraid of your life, so you are willing to do and sacrifice anyone and anything to keep yourself safe. Okay, but at least I would have said that if I am in such a situation, at least I would have told the guy himself, not like I'm not going to make like a big announcement or report to police or something like that. At least I would have went to the guy or tried to contact the guy and alerted him.
Thank you. The
This
professor has spoken.
This is what I'm saying.
Yep, the professor has spoken. You find the
Uh,
guy.
I'm not a professor, sir.
You find a guy, and then you will try to relate that information to the affected or the prospective affected person, right? So, what is your thoughts, Rodas? You wanted to talk again? We have more.
yes,
Go ahead.
yes. So at that point, I didn't know the guy, and I was already in the taxi. So the other taxi driver was speaking to the taxi's driver I was in. So if I suddenly get out of the car and waited on the line, they would suspect.
That's correct. That's correct. Thank you.
So yes, that's the case.
Good. We're still on your case. Anybody else? Anybody else? The floor is open.
Hi, Rodas. Can I have a follow-up question?
I wanted us to deal with this
Yeah.
first, but if it's not going to change the direction of this discussion, go ahead.
Rodas, do you have no protection from your country if you tell it to the police?
Oh yes, at this moment, yes. I mean, if you've heard about Ethiopia, it's currently in a war with one of its regions, which I belong from the region. So we're being ethnically targeted. So that's a bit tough situation. If I report to someone, they wouldn't believe me. I would actually go to a prison because of my identity. So we're actually keeping it low for us because I'm from Tigray, which is the region that's being attacked from Eritrea, Ethiopia. So you can well, it's a bit hard. So yeah, even my family are closed in the region. So yeah, communication, everything is closed. So it's a bit tough situation. Yes.
Well
I'm sorry to
understood.
hear that.
Well. Everybody, we do sympathize with you guys, and it's not that easy. Yes, but we're still on ethics. If you are in situation of such, Judlin, you have something to say about that? If you are in such situation, what would you do? All right, I guess I have to give myself the 50 cents that I had, Well, again, when we go into the material, you get to understand this very well. I sometimes ask myself, even when you have an issue and it's within your organization and you do report, how do you know that the person you are reporting to is what? A beneficiary to that same body? How do you know? One time I went to a bank somewhere and I dressed like, any other person that you don't even know. And I was going to withdraw money, and the money was a little huge. And the teller was looking at me, going back and forth, my ID, behaving like the way I'm dressed, I'm not supposed to cash out that money. So in our conversation, I asked her, can you identify a fraudster? Can you identify a fraudster? If you see a fraudster, can you identify him?
What does this mean?
Say that again.
What does this mean? I mean, the word, I don't understand it. Fraudster?
Yes. I asked the banker, can you identify a fraudster? Somebody involving...
I don't understand the meaning of the word itself.
Oh, okay, good. You are a fraud boy. You get involved in 419 and all those stuff. Are you with me?
Trying to be.
Okay, very good. So you are into fraud. Okay. So would you be able to identify somebody who is into fraud? A fraudster. Can you identify him when you see him? This is what I asked the banker, and she was like, what? Why is this gentleman asking me that? I said, listen, you know what you have to do? Make sure the ID that the person is presenting to you is what? Is original, is genuine, it can be tracked. What is next is to do what? Provide the person the services he or she is looking for. Because for your physical eyes, you might not be able to do what? To identify who a fraudster is. Nowadays, they will dress in suits. Okay? They will dress and put on, excuse me to say, sometimes in a religious manner. Okay? That you might not even think about it, that this guy is a fraudster. Okay? This guy is into fraud. You might not even know that. He's a bad guy. You might not even, in a second, think about that. So I always ask that question, that at your workplace, you reported that incident, okay, to your supervisor. How do you even know that he is not part of that syndicate? Okay, so yours is to do what? To do your part. Many a times you will have anonymous line that you'll be able to call and then report that incident. Okay, you can report it anonymously, that nobody will know who is reporting that kind of what information. Two, you could also try to be think out of the box. All right, maybe you would like to, if you really care about the person and you really want to help solve the problem or solving the problem, you can do what? Go back home and then come back. Write a piece of paper, leave it somewhere in the car or on a maybe somewhere that somebody will get that information and be able to do what? Act upon. But seeing it and not doing anything about it is questionable. Let's turn the table. Turn the table on the other side. If you happen to be the taxi driver and the taxi driver saw you in that condition and refused to report and you get killed, would you be okay? How would you feel? Would that be fair?
Of course not. Of course not.
So I understand. We all want to make sure that we protect ourselves. It's very good. No one is telling students in ethics to do what? See fire and jump into it. Nobody is saying that. I'm not telling you, or no book is going to guide you to see fire and then jump into it or set yourself on fire. Nobody's going to do that. But as you do this, make sure you think about it. You think about it, and then all the time weigh both hands and see if I happen to be the person in danger and somebody just look on, would I be happy? There are situations, or there might be situations that there is nothing you could do. You cannot do anything. There could be situations of such. Probably somebody is holding a gun at your mouth, or right at your forehead, that if you dare say something, I blow your head off. Even at that particular point in time, we have very hardcore people who will still go ahead. But that is where I might tell you that if you are in circumstances of such, which sometimes might not be immediate, but what? In the later or future, it can happen. So you think about that. So you do that in such a way that you cannot be located. You just don't forget, once again, you want to help salvage the situation. So you do it in such a way that you will not be in an issue going forward. Some of us in the public service, okay, if you find something wrong in the institution I teach, especially, for example, someone come to class, all of a sudden her attitude or his attitude have changed. You, the professor, you don't get close, find out what exactly is going on. And it turns out that maybe the person has been sexually harassed or whatever it is, and it comes to light in your class. You saw it, did not say anything. You can be sanctioned. I hope we are getting something out of this class. You know, it cannot be one way street. It is always two-way street. So you look at it in both ways. But again, there are some factors which will always influence our decision. And like I said earlier on, culture is one. Our religion plays a very important role also. Okay? So at a point, you need to make sure that whatever you're doing, it is within that context. It's right. All right? I'm not sure if somebody have any question or follow up or any contribution. Mr. Awad, are you there?
Absolutely, I'm here.
Share with me some of the challenges with your HR department.
Actually, I have two things. One time we were going for a recruiting, okay, and I came across a very nice CV. The guy had great experience, nice, exactly matching the position. The only problem, he was a little bit over age. Okay, I can say that before 6 years, I would simply, without even saying anything, throw this CV away. It's over age. It's not required. Okay. Then when I joined my current company, I had an ex-boss. He was really a very good guy. He told me, as long as the guy is qualified, take him. Okay. It's not just the age. Like the guy was in his 50s, and my manager was in his 50s also. He told me, I might be in a situation like this. He was talking about himself. Then he told me,
That's right.
you, that me, Ahmed, you might come in a situation like this. Wouldn't you like that someone help you? Okay, it's not generosity or something overriding the rules, but at least this guy, this aged guy, will work at least 3 to 5 years easily without any issues.
That's fine.
So don't what can I say? put yourself in the other person's shoe.
Okay, good.
Okay, that was a situation I learned very well my lesson. The other situation I was not involved in directly, but I think this situation is matching our case here. I am in a company which is managing shopping malls. So one of the shopping mall manager, she was she has been with the company for over 20 years, and she started like small position up to she became the general manager.
Mhm.
Okay. We in HR we started a new practice like some of us, the officers, will go to the location. Okay, meet the people, see how they work, what they need, like this, what's their problems.
Mhm.
So my manager, like he was like doing our job as well. He went to the mall and he started like meeting the people. He came across, like this general manager of the mall.
Mhm.
Okay, she has been corrupted. She has been using the company materials like for her own use, like taking the employees to
Yep.
paint her house, clean her car. Okay, and it has been going like this for quite some time, but
Yeah.
no one was saying anything for two
That's right.
reasons.
Mhm.
They were afraid
Yep.
because she was like hell. Okay, she has been with the company, she knows the owner, she particularly was raised in the owner family.
Mm.
Okay, over 20 or 25 years with this company. Okay, so she was very powerful. Okay, the other thing is this location was far from the head office. Of
Yeah.
course, it's a lame,
Mhm.
lame excuse that like
Yep.
you are far from the office, so
Yep.
we cannot come to you.
Yep.
Okay, but at least someone, when they found us in their faces, speaking with them, some people they said something. Okay, so a huge investigation happened, and eventually this lady was laid off without punishment. But
Mm.
laying off itself, it was a punishment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's
So
true.
yes, there was corruption going for quite some time. No one said anything. They were afraid for their jobs. And of course, we are all 90% are expatriates. We are all foreigners.
Good. Thank you.
So
Thank you so much.
yeah, welcome, sir.
Oh, you still have something more? Sorry.
No, that's it.
Good. Thank you.
I'm the one who did her final settlement.
Like I always say, the class has to be, it has to be lively, and with these practical examples, others tend to learn a lot from it. As Mr. West said earlier on, it goes back to the same Rhoda's issue, as Rhoda's also eventually accepted. Just put yourself in the person's shoes. Whenever ethics comes up, think about that. If you can, you have to do what? Intervene. And with the last issue, yes, many a times you find people doing so many bad stuff in the rural areas that it's difficult for authorities and compliance officers to get to. They are in safe havens. Some you might have to drive for long hours before you get there. So that's what they will be doing. But guess what? No matter what it is, one day somebody will come out and then speak. One day somebody will challenge that person, because it cannot continue for that long. It affects the entire organization. And don't forget, whenever you go into this, be ready. If you don't get sabotaged, okay, they will find a way to deal with you. I have gone as far as even all my HR at a point put about 2 or 3 employees together, including a manager, a colleague manager. I said, hey, listen, go and say sorry to this gentleman. Because they will plan, have a very nice scheme and put it on you. But if you know what you are doing and you are innocent about what is going on, you will always be what? Come out successfully. You know, so be ready. And, you know, if you want to cut corners or sometimes do that kind of, I don't know how to put it. If it's going to go in your favor, yes, you accept it. If it's not going to go in your favor, you don't accept it. And at the end of the day, you want to find a way to make those people look bad, you're going to be in trouble. You are part of the syndicate, but because you did not get, or you did not get your way out, you just want to just expose them. No. They will get you. We are in a technology age, you know. Somebody might record you, somebody might video you while you are dealing with them, you know, and you find yourself in a very bad situation. But if indeed you are not part of the situation, you are not part of that deal, but you are genuinely concerned, yes, you have a way out. You have a way out. And again, no matter what it is, no matter where you are under this sun, anywhere, you definitely have somebody who will support you in the fight against unethical practice or illegalities. You will find somebody who will support you no matter where you are. Okay, so just be prepared that, hey, this is what I'm doing and I have to walk my talk. Anybody have something else? Good. I'm not going to worry you, Noran. You said you were not feeling that good, so let's get to our course quickly. And along the line, if something comes up, we will deal with it. All right, good. So quickly, we are still on the same topic. All right, we are still on the same topic. That is the ethics and the law. Okay, ethics and the law. That is module 2. We are on the same topic. So we are again projecting that by the end of this section, we all should be able to cite examples of unethical behavior in our world negatively affecting business practices. That is what we have been saying. You should be able to cite 1 or 2 and then pinpoint what is not right, unethical behavior in your organization. Okay, we should be able to at least distinguish among what we term as what? Ethics, morals, and then values. Okay, we should be able to do what? Distinguish between these 3 and cite influences or group and individual values. Okay, we should be able to do that. Again, we should be able to also discuss the relationship between what? The law itself and ethics. Okay, that is what we are in here for. And by the end of this session, we should be able to go home with something good. Again, we should be able to discuss the different type of ethical reasoning and examples of responses to each ethical issue by business, education, institution, government, trade, and professional associations. We should be able to do that. We should also be able to discuss some ways businesses can ensure ethical practice. All right, and that is what we are here for in the next few minutes. You know, when we say unethical behavior in our world, some large corporations, okay, have been involved in this act, okay, for so long, okay, and it's acts deemed what? Unethical and illegal behavior. Questionable accounting practice, referring to Winnie, questionable accounting practice. I remember some years ago, I had a client who had immigration issue, pardon me. And this person came to me and he wanted me to do a fictitious W-2 for him to be able to file his taxes and then present it to the immigration. So, you know, you are the only person who can help me. We come from the same country. You know, if you don't help me, they might deport me. Can you please do this? And my answer to this person was, I cannot do this. This is dangerous. And this is going into the government. You are not sending this to any private organization to get a job or something like that. This is immigration you are taking this to. This person refused. Finally, he called me one day and he was like, oh, I was able to get it and I forwarded it to the, what do we call it? To the IRS for somebody to endorse it for me. Guess what? He was able to get somebody to endorse it at the Internal Revenue Service for him. Because in the United States, at the end of the day, you should have a practitioner code to be able to sign that. And he found somebody to do that for him. So not long ago, he called and he was like, oh, I went in and the immigration court took the tax returns and the W-2. They still want to see my wife. Meanwhile, you have entered into what? You have entered into money or commercial marriage with this person to be able to provide you with documents. And at a point, it did not go well with you, and you guys did what? Just separated. So the person left you because you couldn't pay the money. Now that the court received your fake document and asked you to bring in your wife, you ended up producing the wife at my office for me to convince the lady that when we get to the law court, which is immigration court, please tell them that is your W-2s and your tax returns that we did file together. And the lady said, hell no, I'm not doing that. And I was very happy. The lady refused outright that she's not doing that. She's not going to have anything fake in her name. Guess what? At the end of the day, they went to immigration. The lady decided to take her W-2s to immigration. This issue that I'm talking about ended up becoming what? A criminal issue. Now, look at the scenario which is going to happen. At the end of the day, the gentleman that I knew who wanted me to do that for him, just after some few months, had cancer. He had cancer and died. Now, the case is with what? The criminal court. This person have died. Assuming I signed that document, although that person might have died, I will still be in the grips. So ethics tend to be very important in everything you do, especially if you are in business. You got to be very careful. It might be very tempting. It might be very difficult. It might be very stressful for you to do what? Uphold ethics in whatever you do. But if you do it, eventually you'll be smiling. But if you don't, and you think it's okay for you to cover it, sometimes it's not all the time, and you might think it's okay, but one day you'll be exposed and you'll be in trouble. So questionable accounting practice, fraud, deception, okay? You see, insider trading, okay? Insider trading, especially those in stocks, you know, and shares. You'll be able to provide your family with all that information that, hey, listen, this stock is going to go up. Target this one next week. Buy most of them so that you make enough. You are in there as an organizational employee, part of the organization. Then you share that information outside, because at the end of the day, the person is going to make money and then give you what? A kickback. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what we are trying to put across, that one day you find yourself on the wrong side of the world. Okay? Attempts to influence both politicians and the media. You're a politician. I'm not sure if I would intend to be the president in the near future. I just want to make sure I get maybe one V8. That's all that I need, you know? as a politician, you know, you are there, you are collecting taxes to be able to do what? To help your nation, all right? So you are collecting the taxes to build the nation, okay? So if the media comes in to find out that the money that was made available to you to construct those schools, those roads, all those amenities were done what? Was pushed somewhere, and the person wants to expose this, what do? You say, keep quiet. When they give you that money, you understand what it is? Say, keep quiet. When they throw that envelope to you, it's keep quiet. That's what they are trying to tell you. But guess what? Who knows who was looking at you? Who knows who was listening to your conversation? That will bring it out one day. And you, being the media guy, again, you look at it from that perspective. Are you helping, or you are just helping to destroy? Are you helping to build the nation, or you helping to destroy? And guess what? One day, probably the hospital this politician is supposed to build, that he did not, and you connived with him and then took the money without sending that publication out for people to know that the money was not used for this hospital. One day you might need that hospital for your life. One day your family, your parents, your close relation might need that hospital. So it tends to be that it is very important for me and you to get involved in ethical practice and ensure that where it's not right, we bring it out. Okay, so in response to unethical corporate behavior, United States Congress, they passed the Sarbanes-Oxley Act in 2002, okay, placing greater top management accountability to what? To closely monitor financial dealings and corporate discourse. United States have done that. And today, due to democracy, a lot of nations or a lot of countries are doing it. A lot of countries are doing it. And even voluntarily, we had other organizations that supports that idea. Okay, so no matter what it is, like I said earlier on, you have somebody to at least get your back. All right, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, let's try to find out some examples of unethical business practice. An entrepreneur, okay, Martha, was investigated for selling several thousand shares of stocks after allegedly receiving and illegally acting on what? Insider information. Oh no, Monsoon is my buddy, you know, so he can just send me a text whenever there is going to be a sharp rise in the stock exchange. Okay, Monsoon is going to be able to give me that information. Or probably Jodlin is my buddy too. She will do that for me right away. But guess what? This is what we are saying. It's unethical. You ask yourself, am I helping?
No, never. I will not do that to you.
I understand you. So that's what we have to say. Would Jodlin connive with me to enjoy that booty? I know she's not going to do that, you know, and that is what we are looking for. So at the end of the day, we should have a peaceful environment. And these things, when we say it, sometimes it's easier saying it than do it or than doing it. Okay, so the more you hear this, the more it boosts your morale and gingers you to do what? To practice what is right. All right, so found guilty of a federal crime for lying to federal investigators. Okay, Stuart received a 10-month sentence, a 30,000 fine, and 19 months of what? Supervised probation. Guess what? Probably they might have given him a cut of maybe $1,000. Just $1,000. You know, one time I was going home, I sent employees out to go and work. And when I was going home, no, I was going to do a check in town. And I saw one of my employees on the opposite side, which means she has finished the job. And I went on my phone right away to see if she clocked out. She did not clock out, although I have known all along that they've been stealing time, because you can clock out from your phone, because it's a field job that when you finish on the field, you don't need to come to the office. So I did not say anything. The next day she came to work and I pulled her into my office and I was like, hey, how are you? So, okay, good. Everybody is fine. Your family, yes, everything is fine. How was your day? No, everything is good. Where were you yesterday at this time? Oh, I was on this place. I went to do this. I went to do that. I did that. I saw this customer. I spoke to this guy. No problem. For the second time, where were you at this time? Because when I saw her at the pump, I wrote the time down. So I said, where were you at this time? So for the third time, I said, I don't want to repeat myself. I saw you at this pump at this time that you are done with the job, but you were still on clock. This lady started sweating like a pregnant fish. I'm not sure if I would have seen a pregnant fish before. You know, at the end of the day, she went on her knees begging. And my question to her was, so throughout this month, how many hours have you stolen? Throughout this year, how many hours have you stolen? Throughout this week, how many hours have you stolen? Put it on paper for me. So when I brought HR in, this person was given a written, what do we call it? We have to give her a written, bring your name. Award, what is that?
Warning?
The written warning instead of verbal warning, because it was so huge. Okay, so at the end of the day, we have to give her a written warning, because you go through verbal, you go through written warning 1, warning 2, and then the third warning, then you are out. But she started begging for her life. So no matter what it is, somebody will see you. And at the end of the day, those hours was taken from her. I have to take the hours from her. And now we started doing what? Monitoring her. And one thing people don't know is with this modern login systems, I can sit in anywhere in the world and I can track you. This is what they don't know. Once your phone accepts that application, I can track you wherever you are. You know, so at the end of the day, the hours was taken from her. And this is what I'm saying. No matter what you do, think about it. Put yourself in the shoes of the other. And don't think that nobody have seen you. Somebody's watching you. At the time that you think nobody is now watching you, somebody's watching you. And in this particular period where we have 4 eyes, wherever you go, you might see somebody sitting there by himself, but there are 4 other people in the room. If the cameras is not on the corner or on the side, it might be what? A television sitting there looking at you. It might be the clock watching you. So the camera could be anywhere. And whatever you are doing, you got to be very careful. When I go for some undercover duties, I have a small camera I put, I think it's here. I can show it, I'm not sure. I have a small camera that it's just like my button, this button. So all I do is I put it here. I put it where there is no button. And you not see it. You never see it. And this is what I keep saying. People have to change their attitude and perception in terms of business because somebody is looking at you. Good. So ethics in global market. Ethics in global market. Group and individual values are influenced by what? This is what I mentioned. Religion. There are some religion or some religions, they frown certain bad stuff. They don't like lies. You did it, you said you did not do it. Some religion, or mostly, almost every religion will tell you it teaches what? The good and the right things. So religion should influence people to do the right thing. Okay? So ethical background should be influenced, or the way we present ourselves should be influenced based on our religion. That can do what? Tell us to do right. But what do we see today? What do we see in our society? Those who are so religious will turn up doing the bad stuff. Okay? So it's you and I. When we go into business, we demonstrate to them that we were once graduates from the United States with different perception, with different attitude to work, with different understanding of the culture of the way things is done in a country. So when you come to United States and you do business, there is a specific course you have to take. We call it expatriate management. So you'll be able to do what? Deal with all kind of people from different backgrounds. If you are talking to people sometimes and you do you with your hand like this, they might tell you are disrespecting them. But it might be normal in a specific culture. That's where culture comes in. You know, in the United States, you can sit in a class, professor asks question, you raise your left hand. Somewhere in other parts of the world, they will say, hey, we don't do that here. Okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So there is some sort of influence coming from what? Our religious background, our traditional background, and the customs we find or we find ourselves is very important. And these also influences what we do. So with expansion of global businesses, professionals face different standards of what? Conduct in different countries. Different countries. You see it everywhere. That is why if you have maybe a foreigner coming into a different country to operate, their operation might be different. Maybe if the country that we find ourselves is the citizens are fine with corruption, that foreigner might not be fine with corruption. Okay, and this is what we are talking about, and we should all help to do what? To project this agenda. Again, as I've said, so at the end of the day, culture and subculture will influence the development of individual and group values. Okay, it will influence that no matter what it is. Okay, so now, so culture is what? Of utmost importance. It is the values held by those of a nation or ethnic groups. All right, that's their culture. I want to understand this very well. Okay, and culture will frown that. Culture will tell you, you don't go to somebody's farm and steal. Is that not it? Who is out there and knows this? You cannot just go to somebody's farm and then steal. Why do we say that? Anybody? Why do we say that? You cannot go to somebody's farm and then just steal. Why? Why do we say that? Is it good? Is it ethical?
It's illegal.
Good. It's illegal. That's one. Thank you, Judlin. Anybody else?
Well, the farm owner might shoot you.
That's right. That is the reward, right?
Always there is consequences.
That is the reward or the consequences you get for doing that. And again, don't forget about what Awad and Rhoda said again. Put yourself Put yourself in the person's shoes. Probably you are a tomato, or you are maybe a cassava, or whatever you do, a crop farmer. You have been taking care of these crops for about 6 months. Somebody jump in, start stealing. How would you feel if we turn the table? This is ethics. I hope somebody is understanding this. This is ethics. You know, no matter what it is, it's going to be what? It's going to affect somebody. So if it is not you and you say it's okay, make sure when it's you, you don't say it's not okay. So that is ethics for you. So subculture are values held by a smaller group. For example, employees or of a corporation or a department in a company, and may differ from those of a larger culture. When you go to every organization, yes, Awad, Noran, Ulia, Mansoon, Chad, Winnie, all of you, I think Danya is also here. Everybody will be able to tell us that each organization has its culture. Okay, each organization has a culture. Probably their culture is every Friday, everybody have to get a cup of coffee, and they will be around a table and discuss the forbearance of what? The organization. Each and everyone will get a cup of coffee, and then they will be around a table and discuss their program, their performance. Their culture is they will ensure that no matter what it is, they work extra hard to ensure the company performs at a specific level or at a specific performance rate all the time. This is what their culture is. Their culture is to ensure that their market share will not come below a specific percentage. That is their culture. If it is their culture, what would they do to influence that? So it becomes what? A subculture of the organization. And this is what I'm talking about. So if you are in an organization and you don't dream like that, you don't think like that, especially they will say it's their mission and vision. Okay, it's their mission and vision. If you don't have that mission and vision, how can you be in that organization? You might not even feel okay being in that organization because you don't speak the same language, right? So that is what we are talking about. Good. So now, when we say ethics, morals or values, what are they? What are the morals? What is the meaning of morals? What is the meaning of values? What is the meaning of ethics? An individual's belief to what is right or wrong. Probably somebody did not hear it. That's why I was in the course of the week, I mentioned that there is no right or wrong answer to that. So when I saw Olia, when Nora saw Olia fell into the pool and could not follow Olia to maybe bring Olia out or Julian out or something like that, does that make it so bad or wrong? Last week, as I did mention, probably Nora cannot swim. Okay, so at the end of the day, my belief, okay, will set me right. My belief, what I do believe, if it is wrong or right, is what we term as what? Ethics. So an individual's belief as to what is right or wrong. I hope we are all here. When we talk about moral, what is morals? Or morals, somebody will say. I just want to say those two because I like the moral aspect of it. You know, what is morals or morals? What is that? It's a standard and principles society, an organization, a community, or a group, okay, has accepted as a guide Okay, they have accepted as a guide, or it's an accepted behavior of individual within that society. Okay, so at the end of the day, you and I, or all of us in this class, have accepted that when we come onto this platform, we will mute ourselves and then listen to whoever is talking. And when that person finishes talking, the other person comes on. It's something we have accepted and we have to make it work, right? These are our principles. These are our standards. We have to make sure it works. This is what we term as what? Morals or morals. Okay? Now, what about values? When we say values, what do we mean by values? They are also beliefs or standards considered what? So important or worthwhile, which establish an individual's what? Ethics and a society's or a societal moral or morals. So at the end of the day, we have these three core information that it's going to guide what we do in our everyday operation, organization, wherever we find ourselves. This is going to guide us. And it's my belief, it's my belief and my strongest hope that somebody will get out from here and then based on what he or she has learned, will start to do what is ethical. When you are stealing the pens from your office to the house, you know, it's only pen. Don't forget we spend money on that. They are supplies. They are supplies, don't forget. Yo, it's only pens.
Now
It's
I
only
feel
a piece
guilty.
of. Say that again.
Now I feel guilty.
I understand. You know, some goes as far as stealing in boxes. Yes, and what? You and I might forget one pen in our pocket and take it home. It's normal. My organization will buy me 3 boxes of pen every month. I don't sometimes even use one box. Then they bring more. So taking one, putting in your pocket and going back home or writing something and eventually forgot in your pocket, saying it's not bad, it's not anything. But some, oh my, they go as far as taking bundles, boxes home. Sometimes they don't even do anything with it. They just feel like it's here and I have to take it home. Don't forget, one day you open your own organization, you become an entrepreneur. Whatever you did, I rest my case. I'm only a messenger. So, relationship between the law and what? Ethics. The law and ethics. Okay. When we say legal mandates are placed on individuals or groups, okay, by authorities or government. So, if you are an HR executive, you have the legal mandate to do what? To make a decision on certain applications, on certain positions that people are vying for. Okay, as an example, you can also be there to at least make a decision with your team, with your corporate body, as to how much to pay a specific position. You are representing the organization. So you have the legal mandate to do what? To fire and then to do what? Employ. All right. So legal mandate. Again, at the end of the day, ethical considerations are generally derived from within individuals or organizations. Okay. So I wanted to throw you an example with that. So no matter what it is, try to be compromise with people, but not on the bad thing or on the unethical situations. Okay, try to do that. Ethical ideas have been foundation of what most legal and acted by governments. That is ethical ideas, you know. So it becomes what relationship between what we term as the law and ethics. Approach or approaches to ethics, reasoning in decision making. Okay, approach. So duty-based reasoning, duty-based reasoning, ethical reasoning based on what? Consequences of action. Duty-based. You are the HR boss. You are the procurement boss. You are in charge of logistics. Oh, I've now forgotten about Award's example. Using the employees to do whatever she wants because she's the boss. Oh, if you don't wash my car, I will not give you more hours. Discrimination in this sort. We call it quick pro quo. Quick pro quo. Okay? At the end of the day, if the law catches up with you, it becomes your responsibility because you have a duty-based reasoning to ensure that you come out with something right. That's why we put you there. We did not put you there to accept gifts from employees and do what is wrong. Let them stay home and you still make sure that you pay them. You have a duty by reasoning based on your position. I believe that is so explanatory. Okay, so ethical reasoning based upon consequences of your actions. Outcomes based reasoning. Okay, ethical reasoning based upon creating the greater good for the most people. Okay, creating the greater good for the most people around you. So at the end of the day, you have these two aspects of approach to what? To decision making. Okay, so wherever you get involved in ethics, you think about this. Duty-based reasoning, outcome-based reasoning. So if I do not report this issue being stolen items under my authority and I cover it, and then auditors come around and they find out, what will happen to me? The outcome is definitely going to show that there is some figures which is funny. I was doing an audit for an organization, which is a non-profit organization, and sometimes I laugh. As I'm reviewing the documents, I laugh. Even just something so common, they cannot get it right. So they expose themselves that, hey, we are stealing. Okay, so the outcome would demonstrate what you are doing, and it's going to catch up with you. All right. So responses of business firms to ethical issues. Organizations are concerned about possible legal consequences of unethical behavior. Can you tell me they are not concerned? This is why you will definitely have somebody, no matter what it is, let it be about 20 people being involved in that syndicate. One person will be very concerned about what is going on. One person, okay? So at the end of the day, it could be anyone. And you'll be concerned about an unethical behavior, what is going on in the organization. Executives may embrace ethical practices due to what? Positive publicity it gives their firms. Sometimes some time ago, I was telling some medical doctors I interviewed that system implementation into the health industry demands the CEO or the executive level executive managers or management commitment. If we want to bring the best technology to do what? To reduce corruption in the industry. And the CEO, the executive managers or the executive level officers doesn't want it. It's not going to do what? It's not going to see the test of time. Because they are the same people who will sabotage that program. So the very first thing for an organization to do in an implementation system, whether it is HIT, health information technology, whether it's a change management, whether the organization is trying to go into a different product or whatever it is, the executive level should be very committed. Okay, so executives may embrace ethical practices due to positive publicity it gives to their firms. They might think that when they do what, they come, they embrace that particular practice. Sorry, that particular ethical practice. Others might see something good from the organization, and they will tend to start doing business with that organization. As a result, they are concerned. So you have somebody in the organization who will be very prepared to stand behind you. See, businesses concerned with ethics usually focus on corporate responsibilities and development of codes of conduct. Okay, at the end of the day, they will maybe every 6 months or every year, they will try to run the employees through corporate responsibilities and their codes of conduct. And the organization itself will ensure that what seems to be their corporate responsibility will always make sure that they do that. They will ensure that their corporate responsibility will be fulfilled all the time. If it is a responsibility to the community they find themselves, if it's a responsibility to the society they find themselves, whatever it is, they will ensure that it's being done. Now, responses of business firms to ethical issues also goes hand in hand with corporate responsibility. As I said, action taken by corporations are intended to do what? Demonstrate their wish to behave responsibly. You know, if they are a logistics company and you feel like they've been using heavy trucks and the roads are getting potholes here and there, they should be ready to do what? Get involved to fix that road. And good organizations will do this. See, corporate actions also reflect a moral and ethical what? Concern with observed social problems. When we talk about the code of ethics, companies understand the need to be ethical. Like I always tell a friend of mine, some companies are good when it comes to what do we call it? Documents. They will write, you see a fine piece in a paper, but they will never ensure that that fine piece is being practiced. You know, some firms establish a code of ethics, sometimes called credo or a value statement, just to be able to do what? Ensure that employees are up to standards. You know, and as I said earlier on, Sarbanes-Oxley require public firms establish code of ethics in the United States to be able to do what? Ensure that ethics is being practiced in that organization to avoid unethical practice. Many firms expect employees to strictly follow ethic codes. That is many firms. It could be anywhere in the world. Okay? They expect the employees to strictly follow that. You know? You might not get into a specific country without a genuine passport. Why? Because the immigration process has to go through exactly as it is. But when you start to get rookie immigration officers who are interested in $1 or 20 to get people in, it breaks what? That kind of trend, and it's going to create a lot of problems. So many firms expect employees to be strictly follow what? Their code of ethics or their ethics code. In many a times you see that documents that has to be accepted for a specific thing will be listed. And that's exactly what they expect you to use. When there is a time for a discretionary decision to be made, a supervisor who has that authority will have to do that. And that is why not everybody can just go and then undo or override whatever it is. So you, that person, will also have what? A duty-based reasoning to do what? To make sure that whatever you are doing, the outcome is now going to affect the country's borders. You have a responsibility. Others require employees to sign contract of, there we go, contract of adherence to ethics standards. Yes, some organization you do that. I do have mine here. Okay? You cannot just go into any public organization and do whatever you want. And again, not only public organizations, some private firms are very, very good. And they will ensure that you are following their code of ethics and their standards. So they will ensure that you sign for it. All right? Managers or management should consider relevant stakeholders, those people or group affected by a firm's action or decisions when establishing ethics codes or making ethical decisions. This is very important. Now, responses of business firms to ethical issues. A general list of topics covered in ethics codes. 1. Fundamental honesty and adherence to the law. Should be honest. You remember the example I gave you about my employee? At this time, where were you? You have to be honest. At a point, I'm able to leave my secretary at the office and go home because I have so much trust that she's going to do the job. Okay, so these are some of the things. Fundamental honesty and adherence to the law. Okay, product safety and quality. You and I know that what your company is producing is not of standard, but you keep quiet. Workplace health and safety. You are in charge. There is no toilet roll at the bathroom. The lights are not working. There are potholes at the place that somebody will fall down. You continue to look on until somebody falls. Ethics. Avoiding conflict of interests. Yes, especially those in what do we call it again? Contract department, bring your name. Those in charge of procurement. You know, you don't go behind the door, establish an organization, go for government contracts, and then enjoy the money. Meanwhile, you are right there. So whenever they do the bidding, you will be the highest bidder because you know you have the inside information. Conflict of interest. You know very well that when you employ your own wife at the organization you work for, under your supervision, you know that you will not allow her to do the same task all other employees are doing. But guess what? For me, my wife, she will do it. You know very well that your family will not be given the same assignment as other people. So why bring that person on board? So many a times in the United States, we will not allow your family to work under you, especially when you are in charge of money. When you're able to authorize people, approve people's time and all those, we will ensure that the person will work for the organization, all right, but will work under somebody's authority. That is ethics for you. Employment process or practices. We have spoken about that. We have spoken about that. Fairness in selling and marketing practices. You know very well that this product is not right, but you want to advertise it to the extent that customers will fall for it. Let standard and ethics guide you in whatever you do. Financial reporting. Yes, those who are involved in accounting, even if not all those involved in an accounting, all those in managerial level, you have the P card. You buy for the company. At the end of the day, when you buy 20 boxes of pens, you tell the supplier to change the figure. What do? Supplier relationships also tends to be an ethical power. Okay? Pricing, billing, and contracting. You have to observe ethics in this. Trading in securities and using insider information. You got to be very careful. Think about it. Let ethics influence your decision. Payment to obtain business and also good citizenship matters. Responses of educational institution to ethical issues. Now, educational institutions have increased the need to examine ethics by adding internal policies, training courses, workshops, and programs. See, that's why, for example, fairness in hiring practices will always be adhered to. The employment, promotion, ethical issues in multinational businesses, ethical issues arising from technology, economic justice, and all environmental ethics, and etc. When we go into this educational institution and its ethics, you tend to find out that it affects us students as well. That there is plagiarism. That you have to ensure that whoever you are citing, you give reference to or credence to that person. So it cuts across everything we do. Ethics. Responses of government. Governments try to do what? Protect consumers, the environment, and influence business ethical behavior. Government enact what? Laws, regulations, and programs to do what? To ensure and encourage ethical behavior. That's why when you park your car somewhere, we'll give you a ticket. What? Try it. We will tow the car. In the United States, I'm not sure about what goes on around your place, but park your car at unauthorized place or park your car and don't pay the tickets. We will give you a violation and ensure that the car will be towed. Park your car at a no stopping sign or a bus stop, preventing the bus from at least getting to wherever it's going. You'll be in trouble. This is ethics. The government passed these laws and regulations to be able to do what? Boost the ethical background of the citizens. Yes, it's our responsibility to ensure that every year we file taxes. In the United States, if you are a man, don't file taxes and owe taxes and see who is the real man. Okay? At the end of the day, you see a lot of letters coming to you. And if you don't respond to the letter one, if you don't respond to the second one, if you don't respond to the third one, by the time you realize your paycheck at your job place has been garnished. I remember when I was at the payroll department in one public hospital, doctors, nurses, you see their paycheck being garnished almost every week. Why? Student loans, and they can pay. So ethics tend to affect everything we do. Okay? Ethics tend to affect everything we do. Now, responses of trade and professional associations. Trade associations, what do? They develop guidelines for ethical what? Business practice. Okay? We have done so much, and at the end of the day, we should know about what kind of trade goes on for example, in a perfect market. Okay, what happens in there? Why is it that everything is being controlled? Don't forget that there are what? There are guidelines. Okay, there are guidelines. So there should be standards in the kind of products you bring into that market. Okay, so for example, the Direct Marketing Association provides self-regulatory standards. Okay, so there should be standards. Telephone marketing, sweepstakes, fundraising, marketing to children, collection and use of what? Marketing data should be standards. So whatever you do, there should be what? Ethics involved in that. Ways to ensure ethical practices. Ways to ensure ethical practices. Sometimes the driving force for reform may be an individual whistleblower. Are you there? Is somebody hearing me? Is somebody hearing me? No matter what it is. One day, somebody will expose your unethical aspect or your unethical behavior. And only that person will cause a change. So many a times, some organization will do what? Will refurbish their code of conducts or ethics when issues comes up. It helps them to do what? To refurbish it. It helps them to renew it, to bring some good stuff in there that others used to do what? Used to sway them. Don't forget, people are very smart and they will use the same job constitution to sway the organization. But at the end of the day, just one individual may cause a change in the entire organization. Okay, so sometimes the driving force for reform of the organization code of ethics may be an individual whistleblower. And that person, only that person will cause the organization to change the way they do their things. Who is a whistleblower? A person who reviews a governmental authority or news media confidential information concerning some wrongdoing or conduct he or she regards as what? Don't forget, if you have a pen, you mark it, you underline it, sorry. Is what? The conduct he or she regards. We did not say what? All of us, right? Because we are being influenced based on so many things. The religion, our culture, customs, tradition, it affects this. So the way you might see it might be different from me and my surroundings. But what I will say again, don't forget, my shoe is black. Awad's shoe is white. So all the time, make sure you put yourself in those shoes and see if it fits you. If it does fit you, then keep on, continue wearing it. If it doesn't fit you, then you have to make sure that you take that shoes off. The federal government and many states have laws protecting whistleblowers from retaliation. In the United States, it's a lot. Like I told you, as for me, I'm a certified whistleblower. So I don't even care about it anymore. So you try to ensure that you do the right thing. Even if I don't do it, and they tend to find out that I have that information and I did not bring it out, I will lose my certificate, I will lose my license. But this goes to you. You should be ready wherever you find yourself. Wherever you find yourself, make sure that if it really needs you to bring it out, you bring it out. You might go through so many challenges, but you'll be fine. Probably maybe 1,000 people will leave because of your struggles. Okay, and that is what it is. Leaving a legacy is always better than just getting it yourself and then enjoying. Okay, good. As we get into the end of this lecture, I just want you to make sure that you understand what's going on and you have something out of this class. Ways to ensure ethical practices. Federal government has now in United States enacted laws to encourage whistleblowing by providing what? Financial incentives. We have very huge trucks that goes to the city. If you get to the city, turn off your engine. Turn off your engine because you're going to pollute everywhere. They will not. So New York City is saying that if you're a citizen in the United States and you live somewhere in New York City, if you see a truck in the city with the engine on for more than 5 minutes, do this. Take the license plate and then send it to United States and you get paid. You see how simple it is? So take the license plate of the truck which has kept its engine running in the city. Okay, take a small video with a license plate and forward it. People are making thousands of dollars out of this because people don't want to be ethical. So for people to be able to at least come up or come out and then do what? Give out information, sometimes there should be incentives. And this is what the United States is doing. I know there has been so much replicas somewhere in the world whereby when somebody is missing or somebody is doing something wrong, they tend to do what? Put some sort of booty out there for somebody to be able to do what? Come out. And that incentives, that's what? It gives you the encouragement, the morale to do it, to come out and then give the information. All right. So that is what it is for incentives and in United States. Integration of ethics into business and government. Integration. Okay. Integration of ethics into business and government. Somewhere in the city, when I used to work for Office of Payroll Administration in New York City, at the end of the year, somewhere December, you see letters going around that New York City employees do not accept gifts. So for me, when I came into the private sector, working for a private organization, at the end of the year, you see a lot of people bringing gifts, and I tell them, no, I don't want it. And they were like, where does this guy come from? We're giving gifts to everybody. You said you don't want it. So at a point, my boss have to tell me that, oh, Sam, this is okay. You can take it. And I said, oh, boy, I'm not used to this. You know, the way you were brought up, the organization you grew in has given you some sort of background or some sort of value that you cannot let it go. One time, an employee brought me a nice shirt. And you know what I told that employee? Giving me this shirt does not mean that when you do something, I will not say it. I will say it. This is now going to shut my mouth up. And the employee started laughing. And guess what? That employee received a couple of write-ups from me. If you don't do it right, you know, we should be able to at least have that kind of value in ourselves. Again, leave a legacy. One day, the employee will go and stand somewhere, or you will stand on a platform, and an employee will be able to point finger at you and say, this manager was a real manager. This manager or this supervisor came to change so many things for good, but not for bad. So at the end of the day, business should be what? Conducted in ways that avoid harm to consumers or environment. Okay, you know that what the business is doing is not right. Make sure it should be conducted in ways that will avoid harm to consumers or environment. Probably you might think you are not being affected, but indirectly you'll be affected. Chief Executive Officer or Board of Directors may decide to end ethical practices if they reduce profits or adversely affect the firm. Okay, so at the end of the day, they have that kind of rights. They have all the tools. They have all it takes, okay, to end ethical practices if they reduce profits or adversely affect the firm. Okay, so ensure that if you are a CEO, a board of a director, make sure what those people are supposed to get, they get it to do the job right. Likewise, firms of high ethics will maintain practices that enhance the firm's profits. Okay, and that is what it is. At the end of the day, people would like to do business with you because they tend to think like you are very open. You do stuff in a genuine way. Your ethics speaks for itself. So the organization will try to do what? You are not trying to, like we said about demand and supply. You know, your market share is going to grow based on your ethics. Based on your ethics, the customers purchase the product, they see the level of quality of the product. Nobody will tell them to repurchase or patronize your product again. When customers get to your office, the way you receive them with a very nice smile, okay, Nothing will tell them not to come back to your office. But when customers get to your office, you frown and you'll be working as if, I don't know, whether you are going to a cemetery working so slow. That customer or that client might not come back again. Assuming it's your business and you lose that customer, how would you feel? So to boost the customer base of the organization, ethics is very important as well. So you go into your office knowing that, hey, I'm here to do what? To give it all that I can to be able to improve performance. You go into your office knowing that, listen, I'll be able to do this job and complete this before I leave. Although we have some supervisors, the more you work faster, the more work they give you. Yes, sometimes it's very annoying, but you know, and you set a target for yourself that no matter what it is, you should be able to do what has been assigned you. One, not because of your supervisor, but because of the clients. That one day, if you end up being in their shoes, whether it's white or black, you'll be able to wear it. And that is what ethics is all about. That is all we can talk about ethics. It affects almost every part of our life. No matter what we do, no matter what we do, additional government regulation might ensure compliance with what? Ethical standards. But such enforcement proves costly, slow, and at times creates an oppressive bureaucracy. Okay, so that is what it is. The government might try to enforce it, but sometimes, so it is up to you and I to make sure that certain things are done to be able to do what? To help improve whatever we do. Ideally, individuals and individual organizations and industry organizations and watchdog groups should encourage business and governments to reach mutually agreed ethical practice. Knowing very well that you are in this business for good, what will motivate you to do what is wrong? Like I always say, in marketing, we always say that treating one customer well worth thousands of advertisements one will do. So it is imperative that you ensure that whatever you do, you let ethics guide you. Whatever business you find yourself, whatever organization you find yourself, ensure that ethics will guide you. If you ensure that whatever you do, you make ethics take a lead in it, trust me, not your supervisor, not the organization, but clients, friends, community, everybody will see you and people will start writing good stuff about you. People will start doing what? Writing good stuff about you. That, oh, this supervisor, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. Oh, at this hospital, I want to sleep there, and this nurse is doing that, he's doing that, he's doing that. She is perfect, she's A+. This is what we are talking about. And this does not take anything from you. It is just your responsibility. If you get to know that it's your job and you have to do it, you would not have any issue. But as we bring this to an end, all I want to tell you is, depending on the circumstances you find yourself, when you see something, make sure you say something. I'm not sure if someone have something to say. There is any question? This is the time. Mr. Ward,
Thank you.
go ahead.
I'm saying detailed one. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. You have really given us so much. And I think every everyone on this platform can attest to that. Thank you for sharing that practical example. Thank you. Chan, were you trying to talk?
Sir, thank you so much for your explanations. So I can submit your discussion for the module 2 because Mure couldn't use it. So I left then the ID technician, Windsor University. They told me they were be ready. They were announced us again. So.
Oh, okay. Sure, no problem.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anybody else? Winnie, I did not hear from you today. Oh, go ahead, Noran.
I have a request, please. Can you share with us the PowerPoint because they have a better visualization than the lecture notes on the Moodle currently. So if it is allowed, of course.
You want me to do extra work, and it's 20 cents per page.
Okay.
No problem. I'll get you that. All right.
Thank you, sir.
No, that's fine. Anybody else? Winnie, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I think this lesson has been very insightful.
Thank you, Winnie, and I appreciate all of you. Larry is the man. Larry started firing on the platform, but today I did not hear from you. Larry, are you there?
Yeah, yes, Professor, I'm here. Actually, I'm working and actually listen to your lecture as well.
Okay.
Both way. So far, I have no question from my side. Thank you so much. Thank you very
Sure,
much.
I appreciate you. All right. So that is good. At least I believe each and everyone got something, and we'll be able to put it into practice. And like I always say, the sky is your limit. Please don't forget, we do have a homework assignment, and it's due on Sunday. All right, it's due on Sunday. So I'm not sure if there is no question.
The
Then I
Moodle
will.
is down, sir.
Moodle is down.
Yes, I'm even trying to open it right now. It's not.
Yes,
up.
Moodle is down, sir. You
Oh,
cannot
boy.
submit any assignment.
Wow. These people are gonna kill me, you know. No problem. If we still have that issue, and as at tomorrow, you are unable to finish, please let me know. Send me a text. All right, so that I'll be able to extend the date. Are we there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So without much ado, I'll allow you guys to go and then continue with whatever you are doing. I know some people are about to go to bed. So I wish you all the best, and I'll see you next weekend.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you,
Professor.
Professor.
See you next week.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sam. Bye.
Sir.